to the animal experience. It's Thursday, and that is when the animal experience goes live every week on my Facebook page. I want to thank everybody for joining me. My name is Coriel Kramer, and I am thrilled to be able to give the animals a voice and bring their voices, their messages, their wisdoms to all of you. I am a professional animal communicator, metaphysical consultant for humans and people, which also means that I'm a psychic, a seer, a medium, a healer. So it goes on for a while. So that's what I'm all about. I want to thank everyone for joining. I want to thank everyone for supporting the animal experience. It means a great deal to me. I know that it means a great deal to a lot of you because you have told me so. You've commented, you've left reviews, you've given it likes, the videos likes, and that is something that I cannot tell you how thrilled that makes me. And I want to thank you all. So this is episode 44. Wow. This is episode 44, and it's about music and animals. So you've heard the old saying, you know, music calms the savage beast. I hate that word beast, but you know, I'll use it for this thing because that's the saying. So is it true? I mean, do animals understand what music is? Can they comprehend the different genres? Do the different genres affect them differently? You know, does one type of music work better than the other? Are animals even, you know, affected by it all, or is it just coincidence? Coinky-dink, you know? So as they said in Spinal Tap, let's crank our speakers up to 11 and find out. Okay? So the first thing I want to address is this, which is basically, you know, the easy thing. That, you know, can animals comprehend what music is? So let's go over these things one by one. And the majority of this comes from the animals that I've spoken with over the years, that I've spoken to as of today as well. I'm pet sitting for two amazing dogs whose photos I'll post later because it was interesting. I'll tell you what happened a little later on. But it's all different kinds of animals. It's also, I've connected to the animal kind, which is basically the wild animal kingdom. The collective is what I call it. Hello, Lucinda. It's nice to see you. The collective is what I call it, the animal kind. And I asked their opinion, and it varies, okay? But it's very different. It's very interesting that it's different between wild and domesticated. So, what is music? Okay? So, basically, the bottom line is music is a series. This is what I believe. Music is a series of vibrational tones that are put together to make music in a cohesive way. Now, some people, you know, some people's cohesive is a little different than other people's cohesive, but that's essentially what I believe music is. And, you know, when I looked it up on Webster's dictionary, it's pretty close, okay? But this is the way that I sense it, and it's important to hear it again. So music, I believe, is a series of vibrational tones that are put together to make a song. Okay. So animals are very tied to vibration. Now, I've discussed this already. I've discussed this in episode 10 about LOA, law of attraction. I discussed this in episode 18 about bad behaviors, why animals do some bad behaviors, and some of it is because vibrations. They're trying to let you know the vibrations in the home or where they are is ooky, so they're doing bad behaviors because animals are limited to what they got, you know, to how they can't write on a Post-it note, hey, you might want to cleanse the house, energy kind of sucks. They're limited. Then there's the episode 36 that I just did a few weeks ago on energy. Now, all of these are important. And again, I stress to people, yes, absolutely, the animal experience can be experienced one episode at a time, okay? One episode every way. You could go however you want to go, okay? But there's a lot of them that are tied to one another. So I'm not going to recap everything I've done in past episodes. So if you want to learn more about animals and vibrations, I would suggest you go back and look at episode 10, 18, and 36, and the other ones too. You know, whichever ones resonate the best for you. So, moving on. So animals are very tied to vibration, okay? A lot of the times they feel a person's vibration without that person uttering a single thing. Now, we've all seen animals. Some animals like shy away from somebody's whose energy might be too tense, or they might go towards somebody, you know, and just get all lovey-dovey with them because they love their energy and they love their vibration. Or they might just all of a sudden become aggressive because that person's vibration might be ooky to them. So, you know, a person does not even have to utter a word for them to know, and plus they're telepathic, but it's a majority of it is about vibration. A person doesn't even have to utter anything before an animal will know what's going on. So again, animals are very vibrational. Now, here's an interesting thing. Animals also understand beauty in many forms. Both physical, both spiritual, and both musical. Okay? So they understand the concept of beauty. They understand something that feels right to them, that makes them feel good. Okay? They also understand, you know, beauty in aspects of the visual, the auditory, the kinesthetic, the feeling, the vibration of things. They understand the spirituality. They love connecting to divine. They're very spiritual beings. I've covered that in Are Animals Spiritual? Do animals understand and connect to divine, and how do they do it? Okay? So the animals are very tied to beauty. They understand that music, they understand this. The animals that I've spoken to, now this is not maybe every single animal on the planet, but the animals that I've spoken to, and I've been doing this for over 2 decades, understand music. And they understand that music invokes powerful emotions and feelings and even thoughts. Now, this is more true for domesticated animals than it is for the live animals, for the wild animals, okay? Now, here's the interesting thing, okay? The reason being is because the domesticated animals have more of a experience working with and listening to music. Wild animals, less so. But here's the interesting thing when I connect it to animal kind, wild animal kind, okay? And wild animals do have a concept of beauty. They have a concept of beauty in nature, flowers, colors, sounds, okay? Sounds of a bird song, like I'm listening to right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's beautiful. This bird is outside and just singing her little heart out. So bird songs, the beautiful sound of a running stream, the call of other animals, the night sounds of crickets and cicadas, the rushing of the wind. This is all music to the wild animals. Kind of cool, isn't it? It's the nature, it's the music of nature. So do they understand, however, if a jazz band went out into the wild and started playing, would they understand that? They would understand it, but some wouldn't gravitate to it and others might. It's very interesting. There's no cookie cutter. And again, I'll go more into this in a second. You know, it might keep them away, but there might be some who are curious, who are drawn to that vibrational tone that's going on. Okay? And it's the same thing for any musician, any music that goes out into the wild. Some animals are drawn to it, and some animals, wild animals, might not be drawn to it. So, but all of this, with the rushing of the wind, the bird sounds, all this stuff, wild animals, as I said, still understand that about vibration. All animals understand about vibration. They might not have the experience with the music as we know it, but to all animals, vibrations are vibrations. There's no difference. The vibration is vibration, energy is energy, and they all know and understand that. Okay? So the next thing I want to touch is, can they comprehend the different genres, or do they understand the different genres? Well, everyone's a critic, okay? It's more likely they know what they like more than what they don't. So a human would go into, I don't like this music because it's too loud, it doesn't seem to flow, the person singing doesn't resonate with me, I'm not into opera, I'm not into classical, I'm not into... An animal will listen to music and immediately it's either like yes or no. There's no, oh, but I don't like it because it clashes with my, tonality of the musicality of they don't go into that kind of stuff. That's humans putting labels on stuff. Okay. So they do have a taste for different music. They do. They just don't go into specifics. All right. Now, the whole reason why I started this episode came to me was last week. Interestingly enough, one of the pet sitting people I'm taking care of is my landlord's cat, and his name is Buddy. Now, Buddy's extraordinary. In fact, I should have had Buddy on the inspiring animals, or the handy awesome animals, because he's blind. You would never know he was blind. He got lost one time in the desert, ended up in this beautiful estate 2 miles down the road. He was incredible, fine, totally and completely fine, but he went 2 miles in the desert blind. Okay, so handy awesome. So but what Buddy did was and again, this is not to say anything negative, okay, about any music, all right? I love a whole range of music. I really do. But there are some that I'm not crazy about. Some I'm not too crazy about. So I was going in to give Buddy his medication because he has seizures. So I was giving him his medication, and I go into the house, and there's somebody staying there while my landlord is gone. And, he's a young guy, and that's cool, it doesn't matter. But he was blasting this, again, okay, different strokes, but he was blasting this death metal music. And it's very jarring, okay? It's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. Death metal isn't soft and fluffy. It's not supposed to be. It's about death. It's about suicide. It's about a lot of, heavy vibrational things. So it can't be like, hey, that's not death metal. That's death metal, okay? And that's probably going to be the profile for this week's episode. Okay, anyway. So, Buddy, I noticed, usually very, very easygoing, easy breezy, not a big deal, seemed very, very stressed. And he seemed very agitated. He wasn't able to eat his food. I had to take him into the living room, far away from the bedroom where the noise was going on. And I actually had to ask him to lower the music. And when he did, Buddy immediately started eating. Now, I didn't have my camera with me, or I would have taken a movie of it, because it was really extraordinary. The before, not eating, then immediately, as soon as the music went down to quieter tones, he started eating. So it was messing with his ability to digest. It was messing with his ability to eat, to understand, to be able to process. So I found it very, very interesting. So that was why I did it with Buddy. And when I connected with him, he said, he understands why he said he understands why emotionally this gentleman is drawn to it. He understands that because he feels his vibration, the gentleman's vibration, and he feels the music's vibration, and they pair up. Okay, not in a negative way, just they pair up. Okay, but he would prefer if his vibration doesn't get affected by his music, so I had to let him know that, and I told the gentleman that, and he was totally and completely cool with it. So that was the interesting thing that happened with Buddy. Now, the other thing, the other two animals that I'm staying with for the next few days are Jadika and Kareem, and I will will show you pictures of both of them at different stages. I did a little experiment today, and I played 3 different kinds of genres. I played meditation music, yoga music, meditation music. Then I did some bebop music, jazz. So it's a little freer, it's a little less structured, a little less It's more like, it's more like, jagged, a little bit more jagged, but not always. And then I played metal. And it was very, very interesting. At the meditation music, now you got to understand, these animals are very tied to their person who is a cranial sacral therapist. Okay, so they're very into, peaceful, mellow, things like that there. But it was very interesting because when I played the yoga, they didn't even twitch, their ears didn't even twitch. When I played the jazz, again, their ears maybe picked up a little bit, but they were still cool with it. I even played blues and they were fine with that. When I got to the metal, though, immediately they get up. Okay? And except for Kareem. Kareem didn't raise his head, but his eyes were like totally present. Yeah. And I'll take a picture because before his eyes were like this, and then all of a sudden he's like, what the hell? So it's very, very interesting. So that was the different stages. I did meditation music, I did bebop jazz, then I did blues, and then I did metal music to see the different way they reacted, and I'll post the photographs later. So can they understand the different genres? I would say yes. Okay, from what I've understood, from what I've seen, from what I've talked to about them, they understand the different genres have different vibrational tones. Again, they go back to, it's what I like. It's not that I say, well, all metal music I can't stand, and I can't stand it because of this reason. They're just like, I like it, I don't like it. I like it, I understand it, this I like, this genre I like is jazz, it's very nice, it's very soothing, fine. I like the tonality of it, okay? But they can also differentiate between the songs in that genre. So there might be a jazz song that they like, and there might be a jazz song they don't like. So they can comprehend the difference. And it seems like everybody's a critic. So, the third thing I want to talk about is the one kind of music that works more effective than others. Now, I think just like people, like I said before, this is where it comes in. I think just like people, animals are not cookie cutter. There's no one thing for one person. If we all had to listen to the same damn type of genre of music, this would be extremely boring. Think about it, okay? Because I love jazz. I love jazz. I love blues, okay? I love metal. Sometimes I like to listen to my Metallica and rock out. Sometimes I like to listen to my rock music. Sometimes I like to listen to Scottish Highland music. Sometimes I like to listen to meditational music. Sometimes I like to listen to Indian sitar music. If I had to listen to one kind of music all the time, it would be extremely boring, okay? So animals are not cookie cutter. All right, they're not like, this is it, that's all I'm going to do. Like Jadika and like Kareem, I'm able to play jazz, and they had never heard really jazz. They never really heard blues, and they were like, I like that, that's not so bad. So I was able to open up their musical perception a little bit more. So Jadika was fine with jazz and blues and meditational music and even metal music a little bit. I mean, she got up. Yeah, she got up. But it just seemed like Kareem was more disturbed by it. Even though he didn't move, he just was like, you could tell it just threw him off. So Kareem, though, prefers the quieter, more easier tonality vibration, tonal vibrational music. I think it's interesting. So I think, get yourself Pandora or Spotify, or heck, just go on YouTube if you want to and you want to save yourself some money. Go on YouTube and test out different musics. There's also music specifically for dogs and cats. There's things like dog TV that you can check out that plays really soothing music and shows beautiful images. But I think it would be interesting to see how your animals react, to find their different music, because I don't think every animal is the same. I just don't. I think there are some animals that are attracted to certain things, certain music and songs, and some and genres, and some that aren't. But I think they're all open to it. So I suggest this. This is what I do. I put music on for my cats when I leave. And even when I'm home, and this is interesting, I would do it even when you're home, because after a while, and then you put it on when you leave, after a while they will associate the music with you being there, even when you're not. And play with it. See what your animals seem to react to, what makes them feel good, what seems to give them energy, what seems to chill them out, what seems to make them less aggressive, make them less, does, music calm the savage beast? I think so. It can also see which one, gets them riled up and energetically. If your animal is feeling lethargic, maybe trying to play some music to get them a little bit more energized, because it's all about vibration. Interestingly enough, I think many times what music you like, your animals turn out to like as well. So because they want to feel good, and they want to feel good with you, and if you feel good, they feel good. But again, there's a little thing called free will. All animals have it, all people have it, free will. You can't mess with it. So that's not necessarily always the truth. It might be that your animals, might not jive with the music you like, okay? Because their free will is kicking in. So I think that music can bring beings together, but they can also separate us as well. And I think it's important to understand that it's different strokes for different folks. And that for all beings, music is very personal. It's very personal, And I think we have to honor the different strokes for different folks. It might not be my thing. I'm maybe when I was years ago, when I was like thinking suicide was a good idea, death metal would have been a good idea. But then again, maybe death metal would have put me over the top. I don't know. But right now I can't vibrationally, I'm not vibrating at that level. I'm not vibrating at that perspective. It's not to say I'm better, but I feel like I'm a much higher vibrating thing. I like music that opens up my chakras, especially my crown and my third eye. And that's another thing. Music can open up your chakras like nobody's business. They can ground you, they can center you, they can clear out your chakras, they can connect you, especially the megahertzes. And I'm finding things like the sitar music is Indian sitar music. Woo, that will open up my chakra like crazy. My crown chakra starts tingling, and I feel like it's the size of a football field. It's lovely. I love it. And then there's also these beautiful Indian musicians called the Gundeka brothers, and that's spelled Gundecha brothers. And they sing this unbelievable tonal music just with their voices. It's stunning. So I think that, I think music is very personal, and it can make somebody feel really, really good, or it can make somebody feel really, really bad, or it can make somebody feel, sad or happy, or nostalgic or melancholy. It's very, very powerful. So I think, animals, of course they can understand that. Of course they can experience that. Animal experience. Of course they can experience that. Why not? You know, the bottom line is animals aren't stupid. They can understand and comprehend so many more things that many people don't give them credit for. You know, they are vibrational beings rooted in energy and tones. Of course, they understand and respond to music. And why not? And enjoy it? Yes, they enjoy it as well. So if your animal enjoys the music, if you're enjoying the music, your animal is more than likely to enjoy your music as well. So that is episode 44. That is the animal experience, animals and music. So does anybody have a comment or a question that they'd like to say? If I miss anybody, because again, I have to apologize, that happens every once in a while. So if I miss anybody, I will be happy to comment at the end of the show. So, I think that having fun, put on Pandora and just have fun playing and look at the different genres. It's really incredible. I have so many different stations now, and I found the Gundeka brothers through, I forgot one of my stations. I think it was classical Indian classical music. And, oh my God, these guys are just incredible. You can find them on YouTube too. Gundeka, Gundecha brothers. Incredible. Okay, and thank me later. These guys are off the chain. Okay, go ahead. Shelley has a question. Go ahead, Shelley. So, very interesting. I have a question about volume. Go for it. I think, you know, volume again, and this goes into what I wanted to say before and I forgot, so excuse me. Hang on, let me see if I could just find that. That was on my things. Hang on. Okay, so what I wanted to say, I got this. Okay. So this was an interesting thing I found out. So the interesting thing I found out is animals, dogs, hearing. Okay, animals have incredible hearing. Now here's some things to put into perspective, and I'm just going to read this off. Dogs, by the time their senses develop between 3 to 6 months, they can already hear 4 times the distance, 4 times louder than a human being. Okay? And dogs can hear higher pitched sounds that can detect a frequency range of between 67,000 and 45,000 hertz. Now, a human can do between 64,000 and 23,000 hertz. All right? So it's intense. Now, cats are a little different. Okay? They have a similar range of hearing to us humans on the low end of the scale, but cats can hear much more higher pitch sounds, up to 64 hertz, kilohertz, excuse me, 64 kilohertz, which is 1.6 octaves above the range of a human, and even 1 octave above the range of a dog. All right? So volume, does volume play a part? I think volume plays a huge part, yes, okay? Given that, and Shelley says, and she asks, she says, given that animal senses are different, volume boosts become an issue for them. I think so to a certain extent. However, animals, and this, I studied this when I was going to school as vet tech, but I also asked the animals about it because I want to make sure if this was right or not. Animals have the ability to dampen their ears. And what I mean by that is they have the ability to kind of like put up vibrational earplugs. All right? So it dampens the sounds that are around them. All right? They can still hear them, but it kind of like plugs it up enough so that they can stand it. Now, still, I'm not going to test that theory. Okay, I'm not going to. There's sometimes I put music, my TV and my music on a little loud, because I want the experience, and that's cool. I always check with my animals though. Is this okay? Is this volume disturbing to you? I also notice how they're feeling. If their ears are going crazy when I'm watching the TV show, whatever that is, or I'm watching the action movie, then I know maybe I need to lower it a little bit. Okay? If they seem a little agitated, I'll lower it a little bit until I see their ears just slow and stop. Okay? So, yes, they are affected by noise. I'm not going to bring my animal to a Metallica concert. I think it's stupid. Okay? I'm sorry. I do. I think it's stupid. And I think it's also rude. Look, I'm not going to play. There are sometimes I love my Rasta music, and I like playing it in my car, and it makes me happy, and I got the sunroof open, I got the windows open, and I'm blasting, okay? I got a Bose stereo in my car. I'm blasting, okay? But I'm always conscious of what's going on around me. And I'm always conscious of, something, I don't have to my music in people's faces in order for them to maybe appreciate it. I can tone it down a little bit. If my animal is in my car with me, I'm not blasting my music. I think it's rude. I do. Maybe it makes me an old fart, but I was like this when I was a kid. I think it's rude. I don't want to listen to your music all the time. Okay? I don't mind you listening to your music, but don't make me listen to it if I don't want to listen to it. And there are sometimes I'm blasting, but I always turn it down when I come into town. Well, on the highway, baby, that's free rolling. Okay, Coriola's rolling, and she got that sucker cranked up to 12. I'm sorry, you don't like it? Get the hell out of the car. Again, I would never do it if somebody was in the car with me unless they wanted it. Okay, but I'm always conscious about that. So that's my take. Yes, I think they can hear, and they're affected. I also know that they are able to dampen the music and the noise around them. You'll see animals that are walking on the streets of, I don't know, like New York City, and there's some guy with a jackhammer going on, and the animal might be freaking out a little bit, but they might not be as freaked out as you are because they're dampening their ears, so they're not hearing it as intensely as you are. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if there's like a way for them to close the ear canal enough so that it dampens it, which I think would be really cool if I could do that. But I think it's very, very interesting that they're able to dampen the music and the sounds around them. So I hope that answered your question, Chili. Thank you for asking it, because I had forgotten to read that part about the animals hearing. So thank you very much. Valerie Weiss says, what about with multiple pet households? What do you do to give them all what they want? You know something? Maybe it's just seeing what everybody likes. Start with the easy breezy music. Start with like the yoga workout music, or the yoga music, or the meditation music. And then move on to something else that you like and see. Go through the different genres you like and see how your animals feel about it. That's a great question. You can't please everyone, but you can please as much as you possibly can. And you might, who knows, you might find one genre that everybody likes. Hopefully it's not death metal, but no judgment. No judgment. Okay, Shelley says it's very clear while it's not music. Kane, wait a minute, clearly doesn't care about football games. Noise is noise. Okay, we're talking about music in this thing, but noise is noise. Okay, and depending on what it is vibrationally, it might be that the football is just too much energy, too much adrenaline is going on. There's a lot of adrenaline in a football game, man. This is no joke. It's like, from beginning to end. It's like, and I don't blame him. I don't blame Con. He might just be like, I can't handle it, man. It's too much. I don't like it. You know, noise is noise. Listen to your animals. Yeah, she says we turn the games down for him or let him outside. Good idea. Okay. Lucinda said, love this episode. Thank you once again for sharing. Very precious. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Listen, I want to thank everyone for joining. I want to thank everyone for watching the animal experience, for sharing the videos. This is what this is all about. It's not just posting to this on Facebook. It's like, you know, sharing is showing that the video is important, that the animal's message is important. And I want to thank you very much for sharing, because it means a great deal to me that you're doing that. And you're honoring the animals, and you're absolutely honoring me. And I want to thank you all for that. And for a session or a reading, please go to my website. Real simple. It's my name. So it's CorielKramer.com. You can find me on Facebook. If you haven't already, if you're viewing this on YouTube, it's Coriel Kramer. Yeah, everything's Coriel Kramer. Twitter, Instagram, everything is Coriel Kramer. Real simple. So, listen, until next week, I want to wish you and your animals a wealth of wonderful, amazing, incredible, awesome experiences. And I'll see you all next week. Bye.